Lawrence Liu, come from Soteria, China, a private company working on smart brake for commercial vehicles in aftermarket and OEMs in China. So my task today is to have a brief introduction about what's happened in China about self-driving. I do not know how many people care about China, but now you have no choice. So since many people are talking about the passenger's vehicle, I'm going to focus on the commercial vehicle in China, and especially safe driving. Also, I'm going to focus on the what's we're trying to put in the market, not just in the lab from the university, because we're a company, come from a company, not just a university. Okay, so actually in these 2 years, Chinese government released many policies to support self-driving in China. For the commercial vehicles, from last year to this year, we released some specifications for the bus, heavy trucks, those kind of commercial vehicles. But the focus, the main thing, is to force the certain vehicle installed of the FCW, LDW, AEB, ESC, and LKA. For the bus, since May 1st this year, we have to have FCW and LDW. And from next year, next May, the bus longer than 9 meters must have the AEB and ESC. It's very aggressive. So, and for the trucks, it's going to be happened in 2019 to 2021. So that is very clear. Chinese government is push, the self-driving technology applied on the vehicles. And that is giving lots of challenges to the OEMs, especially, this year, because, the standard is not there. We're using the, like the ESC, where we have the, national standard, and FCW, LDW, we have the standard. For the AEB, we do not have a national standard for testing such technology. We're using the European standard. And it's not just about the standard is new, it's we do not have enough experience, to follow those kind of standards. It's just like the, for the FCW and LDW, since this March, the Chinese government has more strict, control about the standard. So many, how to say that, many manufacturers, many OEMs passed this standard with a single camera, but they cannot get the certificate. From March, they have to do that again. So actually the Chinese government is trying to push the OEMs to use camera plus radar for the LDW and FCW, because the single camera cannot contribute the actual about distance for the obstacles. So it's kind of unstable. So we're still trying to follow that. So we get a lot of license. And also another challenge is about the testing. We are in China. We are building many testing areas, but who knows? If the test is enough for support the OEMs to provide the products to the market, because it's very short time. And also the technology. So many Chinese companies are working on the FCW and LDW. It seems like okay, so we have a huge competition about LDW and then FCW. But for the AEB, for the especially for the ESC, it seems like there is no Chinese companies can provide those kind of technology. So we rely on the Vibaco or Canor to provide such technology. So we talk about we talk about our government is trying to give the business to the people from another country. So your guys, if you have the ESC technology or the EBS or something like that, come to me. I can bring you to China. There is a huge market there. So that's kind of a challenge for the Chinese OEMs to follow the Chinese policy to have the self-driving technology used. And for the smart driving or the self-driving, actually it is very clear. There are many Chinese companies are working on that, like Baidu or Alibaba. Many huge companies are working on that, especially for the passengers vehicle. But the Chinese government talk about that may take a long time, at least 8 to 10 years. They encourage the companies, the technology companies, striving on the L1 and L2 technology to save the life. And also, Chinese government pay lots of attention on the intelligent vehicles, because we just have a kind of policy released in the beginning of this year, talked about in 2020 the 50% of the new vehicles come out from the manufacturers should be intelligent vehicle. But we do not know what's definition about the intelligent, but must have something different. So that is the things are happening in China. And also another very aggressive thing is that Chinese government is trying to put LET and 5G on the main highways and the main cities by 2020. So that could be something. And also like intelligent network linked vehicles, Professor K, that is connected vehicles, happen in China. The Chinese government is trying to set up, to give the support, give the resources, give the money, feed the market to have connected vehicles. So, many people are following that. For the commercial vehicles, there are many Chinese companies are working on that. Just in the end of last year, there is a self-driving bus, appeared in Shenzhen, and also like the self-driving trucks, appeared in a seaport, so in China. So if you see the self-driving news, probably every week you will get the news about self-driving. That means in China many companies, many people are working on that. It's kind of competition for the self-driving. But be honest, from my personal perspective, it's in the very beginning. For the bus, in Shenzhen, even they call that a self-driving, they still have a driver there, and there is only 3 stops, and it's just on the certain road. For the trucks, I talked with like the self-driving truck company, and they are aiming to have 30 self-driving trucks this year or next year. And how will they run that? They are going to drive those cars to the highway, and another 40 drivers will be, another way, to take those vehicles when those vehicles get out from the highway. So it's kind of meaningless. It's just like you use a horse to pull the vehicle, something like that. But it's kind of competition. Everybody should go in front of stage and to make the self-driving happen in China. So there are many things, self-driving cars on campus, self-driving trucks for cleaning the road, many kind of stuff now in China. So to me, I think that is a could be a long way for the self-driving, because from the traditional driving to the self-driving is, there is a huge, step, that is the safety, so that is a very, big step. So that is what SelfDriving is doing in China. We're working on the, the AEBs now, and we have like 400 vehicles installed our AEBs in China last year, and run more than 50 million kilometers. And this year we're going to have 3,000 more vehicles installed of the AEBs, and also we're going to collecting a lot of data, because we set up a data collecting platform to get all the data about the AEB performance. And we're not just working on the AEB, so we're working on the smart brake, because especially for the commercial vehicle, it's different from the passenger's vehicle. For the passenger's vehicle, you have 2, 3, 4, 5 people. But for the commercial vehicles, you have like 40 tons, as the load is very different, and also like many things influence, in fact, in the commercial vehicles a lot. So we have the smart brake technology will be adopted. The brake strategy will based on the loading, like the weather, go up the hill, go downhill, even the performance from the from the vehicles. And also we do not think the AEB is safe enough, so our idea is try to avoid the AEB happen. So we're working on smart brake now. So that is brief introduction about China. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lawrence.